Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Guys, Bix Weir, roadtoroota.com. So much going on. It's crazy. I've been screaming about this for 20 years. So, to me, everything feels normal. Other people are coming in who just learned that there is a secret cabal controlling all markets. There are good guys battling behind the scenes. People who are coming in now are like, what the hell are you talking about, Bix? It's so hard to start from the beginning 20 years ago where I was, 25 years ago, to today. But 25 years ago, yes, I was screaming the exact same thing. I'll be probably screaming it 25 years from now. No, I won't. I can guarantee you that. 25 years from now, hopefully I'll be... Yeah, the plan is, what do you do when you're the only one with standalone assets? You help your fellow people. That's what a lot of the Road to Ruta people plan to do that have loaded up on physical silver a lot. I do expect in the frenzy that silver will go 1 to 10 with gold. 1 ounce of silver buys you 10 ounces of gold. I know gold bugs don't get it, but most gold bugs haven't studied how much gold there is in the world. It's a whole lot. Millions of tons, not 200,000 tons that Jeffrey Christian will tell you. Basically, anything Jeffrey Christian tells you, you can just throw out the window. Once he starts speaking, I'm like, oh, who is this jackoff? He's running cover for the banking cabal, obviously. He even admits it at times. It's hysterical. But I just had an interview with Sean at SGT Report. I posted it right at the front of the private road. We did it. Sean's got it posted everywhere. So go check it out. It's called The Last Days. Really interesting stuff. We go back quite a ways, like 2011, I think. So I've been talking to him, and he's in shock. I mean, people actually know about the DTCC now, and we were talking about it. What was that? 13 years ago. But go check out the discussion. It's really important. Also, this is coming to a head. The silver story. I hear people actually talking about solar silver. I love it. I mean, even mainstream people are starting to say, hey, wait a minute. How could the solar panel installations go up 76% last year, and yet the silver from the Silver Institute and the Metals Focus, they haven't said anything about it. We're over a year and a half that they should have been screaming it. They are no friend of silver, is what my ultimate conclusion is. So I am in correspondence with the heads of both of those companies. Nice guys, don't get me wrong. Nice guys. Well, Silver Institute, I just had a cordial conversation with him. I don't know if he gets a lot of hassle because he's the front man, he's the face man, and a lot of people are very pissed off that the Silver Institute, which is supposed to be an advocate for silver, is not advocating for silver and not telling the truth, as a matter of fact. But we'll see this year. This is a year of change. They know all eyes are on the Silver Institute annual silver survey coming out mid-April. As a matter of fact, I wanted to make sure that he knows that we know. So I sent an email to Michael D. Rienzo of the Silver Institute and Philip Newman of Metals Focus. Those are the two guys I'm talking to. They are cordial. They I disagree with this, I disagree with that, but we know. We know. My latest email, I posted on the private road, or the public road, Road to Ruta, right under the big chart of what's going on in silver. I said, and I've read this before, but it's important for people to understand what's going on in silver. The monetary issue doesn't even matter. In a rigged market, nothing matters except the ability for the riggers to rig. When we run out of physical silver, when every manufacturer of a solar panel and electric car and all the great uses for silver run out of silver, that's when the big spotlight comes shining on the Silver Institute, shining on the CFTC. Why did Rustin Benham say we had to tamp down the prices of silver when it almost hit $30? Oh my God, $30. That's what, 60% of its all-time high in 1980? Why did he do that? Because they know it's so massively important. Why did the U.S. Mint stop making silver eagles? Why are they absolutely messing with the Americans right now? the U.S. Mint has gone from the number 1 coin to the number 2 coin because they don't want to make any. They are afraid of silver. And they've pretty much stopped making them to capacity. They're at 50% capacity, and they're holding steady there because they don't want to cause the crash in the price of, well, the explosion of the price of silver. They are required to by law to make silver eagles according to customer demand. And no matter what anybody says, the law has not changed. Even though Janet Yellen gets to decide, she can't lie, she can't steal. The head of Silver Eagle Sales told her that, hey, Janet, he didn't speak to directly to Janet, but he did speak directly to Ventures Gibson, who reports to Janet. And Jack Sherman said to his boss, the head of the Mint, we can do 30 million, we can do 40 million, we can sell 50 million coins. All you got to do is make them. And so Ventures Gibson clearly relayed that to Janet Yellen. Janet Yellen said, no, don't make any. And now they're making half of their capacity. Great time to call your congressman. Call the U.S. Mint and just harass them. They got all kinds of divisions. Call the bullion division, customer service. Say, hey, why aren't you making silver eagles? Why are they still on allocation? Years of allocation. Allocation means they're not providing silver eagles to meet demand. That is the definition of allocation. You're not selling, the primary dealers want more silver eagles and they are not selling it to them. That is illegal. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So I wrote this letter, hi Philip and Michael, this is to the Silver Institute and Metals Focus. Hope you are both well. Keep it cordial. I've noticed that neither Metals Focus nor the Silver Institute have commented on the shockingly high solar installs and panel overproduction for 2023. That's two things they need to address. This is a major development for industrial silver, and yet neither of you have released proactive announcements to the industry about what a sea change this development for industrial silver demand is. It is now a widely accepted fact in the solar industry that there was 76% growth in installations in 2023. Nobody is disagreeing with that. The question is how much silver was in each panel. My own calculations put total 2023 solar silver consumed north of 350 million ounces. They're trying to say it's under 200 million ounces. That's what they're trying to say. They might give us a little love by going over 200 million ounces. Oh, well, we were surprised by India, or we were surprised by what happened in China. I mean, how can you be surprised? We are a year and a half. You should have known this a year and a half ago. You should have told everybody that. Anyway, so I had 250 million for the 76% growth and 100 million in warehouses. On top of that, there was much more TopCon, over 30%, installed in 2023, which was much more than previously projected and would obviously further increase the amount of silver consumed in solar. I didn't add that in because I didn't think it needed it yet, but that's there. Surely the extra TopCon has compensated for any silver thrifting, that's the excuse they use, thrifting, that took place if there was any. From what I have seen, the push has been for better efficiencies with more silver rather than thrifting. They aren't thrifting. I know they aren't thrifting. Name me one solar panel out there that has thrifted out 50% of its silver. Maybe in the past, but not in the last 4 or 5 years. Although I don't have a great handle on the overbuild of panels in 2023, I have read articles stating that Europe and China are bulging at the seams with excess panels produced in 2023. It's probably about 200 million gigawatts of panels. That's a lot. There's about 80 to 90 just in Europe alone, and China has massive amounts. Although I don't, the shocking part of it is that very, very few people in the silver industry are discussing or even know about this information. There's more now than I've been screaming it. More people say, oh yeah, I know all about silver in solar. That's great. I don't care. Still my work. It does. I'd love a little, hey, Bix says, at least a little something. Don't say that like, I know about silver. If you learned it from me, just, hey, pass on the love. All right. I don't know if the Silver Institute or Metals Focus should be giving the industry a heads up, but it seems that nobody is saying much of anything at all. Do you think this is as big a deal as I do? They both said it's a big deal, and wait for the numbers to come out is what they told me. Wait for the numbers to come out. Oh, my God. That's what they seem to do a lot, especially Metals Focus. It says, oh, I got this report coming out. Wait till June. I'm like, hey, people should have known this over a year ago. You're the Silver Institute. You need to be on time in what you report, please. All right. So that's what's going on. Let's talk silver and gold right now. Silver's still being held down, but it's being held down as it's above the 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages. That's the game they play, the criminals. I think they're having a hard time. They're going to have a hard time to push it down. I have been monitoring the day-to-day silver deliveries, at least partially, in India on the IIBX exchange. That's the new exchange in India that's soaking up all the silver. China's the massive buyer, obviously, but India, this month, when you look at it, let's take a look at it. Here's what happened last month, 76 million ounces. Massive jump. That's way bigger than what happened in October. But remember, in 2022, silver had imported 300 million ounces. I think we're gonna break that number this year, over 300 million ounces, because as the chaos hits, massive amounts of silver are going to have to be delivered, physical silver. They are really putting a push on in India, not China. China's already been pushed. In India for solar panels, every government around the world is subsidizing it. I don't care what you think of solar installations and the green energy stuff. It doesn't matter what you think, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. The fact is that it has been agreed that solar will be the number one ESG source of green energy. It has been decided, and all governments agreed to it, and all governments will subsidize it so that it is. That means they're going to have to double, quadruple, and just think about, they did 350 million ounces this year, or 2023, and they want to double it. Now, about 100 million ounces were already made, are part of the backlog. So you're going to have to subtract out 100 million ounces next year. But China's already got over 500 million ounces, or 500 million gigawatts, 500 million gigawatt production capacity, and they're hoping to get up to 800, a terawatt, which is doubling what they have now by 2030. A terawatt, that's probably 700 million ounces of silver for a terawatt, maybe more. We don't know the true numbers. The reality is we're not going to get there. China's still when we get the first quarter Chinese silver numbers, they're going to be double what we did first quarter in 2023. That's my estimate. And everybody's going to say, oh my God, I'm shocked. Don't be shocked. They've already said they're going to do it, and the government has already said they're going to pay for it or subsidize it. Anyway, we know this story. The Silver Institute actually kind of knows the story, but they're not going to tell us. And that's to their detriment. I don't understand why anybody is supporting them if they're not going to come up with the truth. If they do come up with the truth in this, the silver survey that's coming out in April, I would highly suggest all the mining companies and people become members of the Silver Institute. But hold their feet to the fire. If you're going to advocate and be the only advocate for silver and make decent money, from what I hear, there's only 2 people in the company, you better do it right. And they're located in Washington, D.C. They're knee-deep in the politics. But if you don't do it right, everybody should leave. And we're at that point where people are looking at, okay, let's see what they put for solar. And the cars, oh my God. Electric cars, I get it. Don't put it in the comments, oh, electric cars suck. Ask any electric car owner. Some of them, I'd say 95% love them to death. I was watching Robert Kiyosaki the other day. He's like, I got a electric limousine, or it wasn't a limousine. What was it? One of these big cars. He goes, it's electric. It was electric Cadillac. I love that thing. Talk to people who drive electric cars, especially below the freezing zone, and they're all loving it. But it doesn't matter what the United States thinks anymore. It doesn't matter. What's going on in China? What's going on in India? Massive amounts of electric cars being made for the future. And I get it. A lot of people say, well, it's more dirty to make an electric car. Okay. because they use power plants and they use the coal-fired plant. And what happens if we do stop using fossil fuels, the ridiculous name for something abiotic energy that comes from the center of the earth? What if we do stop it in polluting? What if we create a new way to make energy? All of a sudden, hey, we don't need gas guzzling cars anymore. We got free electrical plugins. Just, hey, we got all the electric cars. China is not dumb. That's why YBD is now the number one electric car maker in the world. It's Chinese. It's in China. Biden wants to ban all imports of YBD cars or any cars from China. Fine. China doesn't care anymore. We're at that point where they just don't care. Because the world is moving on without the United States. I hate to tell you. I don't hate to tell you. I love to tell you. I live in the United States. Just think, when this thing falls apart, we're going to have a lot to do. We're going to be very busy rebuilding our country, rebuilding our manufacturing, putting our troops on the borders, asking everybody. We don't need to ask people to leave America. They'll be running back to Mexico. When the price of silver is. Just think about it. They come to America for the prosperity, the chance to make a better lives for themselves. They don't want to come to America where they have a hard time speaking the language and there's no jobs real easy to get. They want to stay at home and work with their family and be close to their family but be wealthy there. Well, if you release the price of silver from manipulation, where will everybody run to in the United States? Why did Trump say Mexico is going to pay for the wall? He said it because he knows everybody's going to be running down to Mexico. Even Americans are going to run down to Mexico at a $2,000 an ounce silver price or $10,000 an ounce silver price. Mexico has the largest silver reserves on the planet, which means Mexico will probably be the richest country in the world. Why wouldn't everybody be running back to Mexico? They would. And a lot of people here are going to be running down there if the United States government continues to rig markets, continues to stop mine exploration, continues to hide gold and silver in the Grand Canyon and Chocolate Mountain all over the United States of America and Alaska. Gull Island, Alaska has enough oil for 200 years. And we found it in the 50s and we capped we capped it, put it at a natural wildlife preserve, save the Alaskan moose. We need 100 million acres to save the moose. It's ridiculous. So yes, I do think the wave of the future is electric cars. Future, I'm talking next 10, 20 years. And then we'll have flying cars, so it all won't matter. There you go. You can't really make a flying car, battery-powered flying car that will be useful. Batteries are too heavy, in my opinion. But they'll be the future's new. It's all about new technology, new innovations. All right. So yes, definitely get all the silver you can. Really interesting. I have a question in Ted Butler on Bank of America this month. In their house account, this is silver. I looked at, okay, who's taking delivery in the month of. If you look at the data coming out of the COMEX, you're going to know who's taking delivery and who's having to issue the delivery. Bank of America, clearly, there's 5 million ounces. There's 25 million ounces delivered this month, which is good for recent silver deliveries on the COMEX. People are going outside the COMEX. Ted Butler has a great article today on people are buying SLV shares and then taking delivery of them. 12 million ounces just went in the other day, and it's going to go right out. That's probably JP Morgan or JP Morgan supplying China or... Well, obviously, JP Morgan is knee-deep in the manipulation. Let's quickly talk about JP Morgan. Hold on before we get to cryptos. JP Morgan was fined $348 million. I talked about this the other day. This is massive. Why is it massive? First of all, $348 million is one of the largest commodity fines ever. And this is for surveillance, which is weird. And it says it went from 2008 to 2024, which it overlaps the deferred prosecution agreement. So although the DPA ended September 25th of last year, there was a 6-month period that if they didn't break any of the laws, the DOJ would drop all charges, all future charges. If they did break laws, they would reopen the case, go after JP Morgan for RICO, and it's open and shut because they've already admitted to it. So, so we have a date coming up in 5 days now, which is March 25th would be the 60-day window. And just before that, the Federal Reserve and the OCC, the Office of Comptroller of Currencies, came out and said, you violated these things, we're going to bust you. It wasn't the DOJ. The DOJ has to make that opinion in 5 days. That's why I'm like, Bix, why you say 5 days? Never set a time. I'm setting a time this time because it's in the law. It's in the DPA. They either have to, one, release JP Morgan of charges. A lot of people say they'll just release them like they always do. I'm not so sure. The timing is key. Or number two, they're going to reopen the case and bust JP Morgan for rigging the silver market like we know they did for the past, I don't know how, at least since they took over Bear Stearns. Never end up with that silver short. Never be the kingpin in silver or you will be destroyed. It has happened over and over. Drexel Burnham, Bear Stearns, AIG, over and over and over and over again. This time it's going to be JP Morgan. They already got the largest fine at that point in history. I think it was, although Glencore is the ex-Mark Rich company. They've had some fines over $1 billion because they're like deep state craziness. We've been going over that for years at Road to Root. But, so 5 days, we're going to know. Or at least they have to issue an opinion. I don't know if they'll talk about it. They probably will. They have to talk about it. They have to release it. The DOJ has to release by the 25th, which is Monday. They're going to have to say, one, we're going to let Jamie Dimon off the hook, or two, we are reopening this case with RICO charges. They own 3 times what they stole, which was over 1 billion ounces. That's total 3.6 billion ounces they'll have to pay back because they stole 1.2 during the crime time. The crime time. So I'm excited about it. Everybody's saying it's not going to happen, Bix. It's not going to happen. No way. This Department of Justice, and that's what Sean said at SGT report, this Department of Justice, no way they would allow JP Morgan to be in any trouble. And I said, unless they want to destroy the system, unless there's good guys within the DOJ. So we'll know by Monday whether, number one, they want to kick the can down the road, or number two, they want to destroy the system. And then we get into the second quarter, which is chaos. Third quarter will mellow out, and then fourth quarter is pure chaos, which that's a Jenny Moonstone reading that we did on the private road just the other day. Go check it out. All right, moving on to crypto. Amazing things happening. First of all, yes, not many people are freaking out about the crypto crash. Most people on the road to Ruta keep emailing me and saying, oh my God, I thought I had missed the next run up and now it pulled back, so I'm buying up all I can. Of most people looking for Theta and Theta Fuel. I'm going to play you something that's going to just shock you. And this is from the head of Franklin Templeton. Massive investment group. Franklin Templeton. Listen to what they have to say. Listen to this.
Some people say that one of the best opportunities now is cryptocurrencies, though crypto has had some problems. What do you tell people that say they want to be in cryptocurrencies? Do you offer the opportunity for people?
Commercial. You're going to be amazed. She doesn't say the name, but we know what it is.
Crypto through Franklin Templeton.
Yes, actually we do. So, first of all, I always say that that Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is happening in financial services today.
Bitcoin is the greatest distraction, which is absolutely true. Bitcoin's great. It's fine. It's a store of value. That's about all it's good for. Listen to what she says and put your mind around who she's talking about.
So I wish, because every time everybody gets in a conversation about crypto, it leads into a conversation about whether this currency, whether it's Dogecoin or Bitcoin, is of value. Forget that. That's like a religion. You either get a believer or a non-believer, and they're never going to agree. But blockchain as a technology and what it can do is going to be hugely disruptive. So not only is it going to be disruptive on traditional back offices and just create much greater efficiency, but disruption on business models. And I'll give you a couple examples that today you go on Google and they capture 100% of your value on your search via their ads. there's a company that has been set up, and when you use their search engine, they're actually paying you in cryptocurrency for some portion of your economic value that you're bringing to the table. There's another company.
Okay, listen to how she describes this company. This is Franklin Templeton, one of the largest places that people hold their 401ks there. She is describing Theta and the Theta ecosystem. And it opened my eyes on a couple things too. But this is one of the largest investment funds saying there's something more important than Bitcoin. And it is so highly disruptive. Listen to this.
That wants to be the fastest streaming service out there. So when you're watching the content, so as I'm watching it on my, say, phone, I'm agreeing to let them cache their content on my phone. So now that you want to watch something, it only has to jump from my device to your device. And they're paying me in their currencies to leverage my device's infrastructure. So now I'm not just a client, I'm capturing the economic value as they grow as a firm. And by the way, I've become part of the infrastructure. They don't have to buy as many computers because they're leveraging their client's infrastructure. So the technology enables that kind of disruption. And then, you have new revenue streams, like I think the NBA raised $500 million in selling off NFT video clips. So that's a new stream. I can imagine, we talked about my brother and his role in the San Francisco Giants. You can imagine sports teams. What if you sold 1% of the San Francisco Giants to 100,000 people? And oh, by the way, they get bragging rights that they own it. They own it with their token. Maybe they get special access to the coach who's going to do a post video after the game. Right? It becomes a loyalty program.
Well, we all know what that was. That was Theta. Franklin Templeton. Can you imagine people in their retirement account able to buy Theta Fuel, T-Drop? The other thing that opened my eyes is the ability, and I hadn't even really thought of it, and it is so massive. I know another massive thing for Theta. One of the key attributes of Theta, it allows people to share their broadband. That's the whole concept behind it. To be a content delivery network on a short distance scale type of thing. It'll speed up everything because you're not having to go. Everybody goes to one content delivery company, and then Netflix, then that company in certain areas will distribute to save time in the backlog. And imagine everybody trying to download a video. They'd solve that. But what they also, they opened Pandora's box when they solved that. They opened the ability and put an incentive on the ability for people to share the excess capacity on their computing devices, not just broadband. The excess capacity. How much extra hard drive storage do you have? How much extra computing capacity do you have on your device? Theta invented a way to use that. It is shocking when you think about it. Take a large company like, I don't know, GE or IBM or Amazon. The amount of computer hardware expenditure they're always upgrading, but everybody on the planet has excess capacity on their computers. So what if let's say IBM says, okay, we have all these sales reps all around the world. Everybody has extra capacity on their hard drive, and they're using the computing speed and their broadband. Can we save money by not buying more computers and just use that excess capacity of everybody in our network? Can you save money? Absolutely. You don't have to buy a new laptop every month. You could just share in the group's excess capacity. I mean, put people in a large building, the call center at like Amazon. Amazon, by the way, will come to Theta. Once the Google, the iCloud and Google and Theta Edge cloud, once that's all put together, the cloud services industry is over. And Google knows it, and they've hooked up with them. So Amazon will try to get on that. It's patent technology from from Theta. It is shocking. And the AI takes so much close by computation and data storage. Theta and AI are absolutely will be married at the hip. So when I see T-Fuel, which is going to be needed for every transaction, can you imagine the amount of transactions that happen in that environment? And T-Fuel is currently at 35-1 with Theta. Yes, Theta is amazing because of the benefits of Theta. You're going to get all the new T-Fuel created, or part of the new T-Fuel created, the way it's structured. You're going to get probably some airdrops from new blockchains invented on the Theta meta chain. You're going to get all that as a Theta Guardian token holder. That's the benefit. But with T-Fuel, every transaction costs you 0.3 T-Fuel in a massive, massive network of transactions, and AI kicking out millions of transactions, billions of transactions. Theta will have to create more and more T-Fuel. There's not a limit on the T-Fuel. That's based on what the Guardian nodes, what the Theta holders say is needed for the network to be just as fast as it always is. It is shocking how big Theta is going to be. It will be into the thousands. My guess is $5,000 to $10,000 per coin. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it sounded ridiculous when Theta was, 4 cents. It is going into the thousands, probably tens of thousands, because it is such a disruptive technology. You don't need iCloud anymore. Imagine that. And it's not you don't have to pay for it either. You get compensated in the native token of that currency, which is you will earn T-Fuel by staking. By sharing, you will earn T-Fuel. Massive amounts of T-Fuel are needed. And at 35-1, I think it's completely. I don't think it is overvalued. Obviously, I think T-Fuel is way undervalued at this point. It'll come back to. I think it was created at originally. Right now, it's 6-1. The amount of T-Fuel versus the amount of Theta. I think it should be at least trading at 10-1, and now it's 35-1. It's kind of a gold silver type of thing, which is always cool. So yeah, I mean. Here you have the head of investment at Templeton saying, she said, we're going to have to start selling Theta and Theta Fuel in our retirement accounts. I do think they will. Other cryptos, I'm not so sure about. Interesting that Grayscale put Theta in the top 10 by risk-adjusted returns, right there, number 7. In their latest post. Tokens associated with AI, right there, Theta. Yeah, it'll be very interesting what goes down. All right. Everybody's asking me about the ETFs. Bix, why do you dislike the ETFs? Because of what happened in silver. What happens in the ETFs is that's how they suppress the price. The custodian is very important. The custodian, for example, when the silver ETF came about, the amount of silver in the ETF skyrocketed. The price didn't do anything. The price held steady. If there was no ETF, that should have been baked into the price. And they do that with computers and derivatives. So that's what is in store for Bitcoin. They're going to control the price and massively stock up on Bitcoin, which we're seeing right now. I mean, the moves in Bitcoin right now are completely controlled by computer programs written by Vincent Viola. Well, originally written by Alan Greenspan, now run by Vincent Viola of the deep state of a company called Virtu Financial. They're in everything. They're in all the crypto ETFs. They're in gold and silver. Completely criminal organization. And yes, the same guy that Trump nominated to be the head of the Navy, who actually got kicked out of West Point, or was part of the West Point cheating scandal back in the 70s. But listen to Larry Fink, the head of BlackRock. Here's something really interesting. This is a good one. Listen to what he says. This is the head of BlackRock, the entity that's basically stealing everything. Listen to this.
I see value in having an Ethereum ETF. As I said, these are just stepping stones towards tokenization. And I really do believe this is where we're going to be going. We have the technology to tokenize today.
We, quote, BlackRock has the technology to tokenize today. You may have the technology, but Reggie Middleton has the patent on it, Larry Fink. And then he goes on to talk about exactly what Reggie was doing. It is shocking. Listen to this.
If you want to think about this. If you had a tokenized security and you have a tokenized identity, you, Andrew, the moment you buy or sell an instrument, it is known. It's on a general ledger that is all created together. You want to talk about issues around money laundering and all that. This eliminates all corruption by having a tokenized system.
Jamie Dimon disagrees with you on that, but, or at least to some degree. Let me ask.
That he just described exactly what Reggie Middleton was doing, the exact patent he was doing, tokenizing securities to get rid of the middleman. Who is the one that causes all the criminality? It's the bankers. It's BlackRock. He's saying we have the technology. You don't have rights to the technology. Reggie Middleton has rights to the technology because he invented it back in the day, so you didn't think about it, BlackRock. You were around back in the day. You didn't think about it. You didn't know anything about it. Reggie did. He patented the technology, and now you want to steal it. Can't make this shit up. Anyway, we are actually giving away one Very token. They're very hard to get. We're giving away one Very token with every private or subscription. Subscription's $2.99 for a year, and it gives you all the access to the envelope type stuff, backstage at the Road to Ruta. Lots of great interviews, discussions. We do have a Theta page, how to buy, store, and stake it. Lots of great stuff at roadtoruta.com. Subscribe today. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you later.